And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the World Championship Series here in Jönköping. Our second circuit event of the year marches forward with the end of quite the turtleneck series. We continue on into the round of 32 where things are heating up as the players, the heroes, begin to fight against the endless tides of Zerg. I'm Nathanius, joined by my two favorite Protoss players, not the really mean one that's been picking on me all day, Rotterdam and Todd.
Have I ever picked on you, Nate?
No.
Did we mention the announcer? Oh, we did already.
We should anyway.
Yeah, it's great.
Congratulations, Nate.
I'm excited about it.
Thanks, Todd. Everything that you say, I know comes from
All the ransom stream finally paying off.
What
being
can
rewarded.
I say? What can I say?
All together in one pack.
Yeah, exactly. You get the best. You get all the best parts of Nathanius at once. So pretty interesting game that we just finished up with. Any final thoughts on that series that you guys wanted to get out?
No, let's move along. Group stage 3, Nate. It's time for Group Stage 3. This is where things get serious. We've got a lot of awesome groups. We've got a couple of games going on as well. Todd joined the game, I joined the game, and we're about to have our first game on the main stream as well of Group Stage 3. Kelazhur ShoWTimE. Somehow, Todd, with 19 Zergs, ShoWTimE avoided all the Zergs and got 3 Terrans in his group.
Yeah, and he even made a cheeky tweet about it. He was like, yeah, I can't really complain if I lose now because I got all Terrans.
These groups will be spawning out the last few potential players that might be able to carve through that endless tide of Zergs that we were talking about in this tournament. And before we go one step forward, we do have Sue in the tournament area. Sue, do these players look like they have their killing Zerg game faces on?
Well, actually, Kelazhur's looking pretty calm. In fact, he's pulling up some YouTube music channels. It looks like his favorite genre of music is some really chill, calm music from what I can tell. So he's just getting ready and set up. But Nate, question for you. Ooh. As a Terran player yourself, are you cheering for Kelazhur and hoping his momentum from Austin carries through? Or do you think it's going to be ShoWTimE?
Kelazhur and I ate a pound of bacon for breakfast yesterday in full American fashion. We are ready.
Sounds good, sounds good. Well, of course, as I just mentioned, these two were both at WCS Austin. At that event, Kelazhur had his best performance yet. He was able to make it to the quarterfinals, smashing a lot of fantastic players on his way there, including Snoot, who he beat 3-2. So this should be a really, really amazing series. ShoWTimE, of course, was the WCS Spring Champion of last year. So really, really high-level TVZ coming up here, you guys.
That is right. And of course, we're looking at our boy Kelazhur, good old Diego, getting ready for this awesome match against a very, very fierce opponent, Todd.
Yeah, Group Stage 3, first match here. Talk about taking competition up a notch. He's ranked 6 against ranked 7 in the WCS Circuit standings. So a huge matchup between two guys that will need way more points to secure their place at the global finals. 2 top finishers over in Austin as well. And ShoWTimE has a huge winning history up against Kelazhur. He's 4-0 in series, 7-0 in maps. So Kelazhur, hopefully for him, is going to be able to open the scoreboard here, even in terms of not just series, but maps. And I think this should be a good one. Both players are pretty good in the matchup, I would say, with ShoWTimE mostly only struggling ever against Zerg nowadays.
Despite the previous stats, Kev, I think we can agree. In Austin, we saw a pretty big step up from Kelazhur, and I feel like if he's continuing that trajectory that he was able to pick up earlier in the year, this could be a pretty nice upset for him.
No, absolutely. It wasn't just that he made it far and that you look at it, it's like, congratulations on the money. It's the way he did it, right? And it's also the emotion he showed after he got a couple of those big victories on stage. It was a fantastic run for our Brazilian Terran, no way around it. But this is also, you could say, another test. It's really funny because we talk about Kelazhur like he had the tournament of his life, and like ShoWTimE had a really disappointing Austin. Well, they both made it to the quarterfinals. You know? And ShoWTimE actually only lost to the eventual champion, Neeb, that was. So let's not count ShoWTimE out here. This should just be a very fun series and should give us a really good feel about the shape of these two, handsome young men going into this weekend.
Yep, and being so high up in the standings, you get to really see the picture that's being painted here. 2 top contenders, and this tournament being very valuable for them. Of course, it's the first match of the group, so no one's going to be knocked out just yet. For a Terran versus Protoss, Todd, how do you like playing on these maps against Terran?
I think it's all right. Like, it's more about, like, Protoss versus Terran has been figured out a lot more. Like, there was the changes with the Adept and stuff. Like, we didn't really get affected by the Reaper, that guy still kills 1 or 2 probes here and there, but
on a good day, Todd, on a good day.
ShoWTimE has shown in the past that he's still super solid in the matchup. He knows how to make transition, play just the right amount of aggressive. I feel like we can kind of know what to expect out of ShoWTimE. It's more for Kelazhur here to maybe play out of his mind and somehow steal the show if he can.
Yeah,
So,
final thoughts.
Kelazhur in the past has always been a Terran that at least once in a best of 3 you get a cheeky 1-1-1, you know? Maybe on Abysso you get a proxy factory, some sort of a Cyclone all-in or a Cyclone Liberator. Kelazhur is definitely that type of Terran. Can he play a macro game? Absolutely. Can he even compete with a ShoWTimE? Probably on a good day. Is he going to cheese at least once in this series? I'd say it's pretty damn likely.
All right, well, let's find out if he is going to bring the cheddar to the table as we kick off the round of 32. It's time for Kelazhur versus ShoWTimE.
That's right. G'day, guys. It is TvP time. EU versus NA, a classic rivalry here of regions between Diego. We've got Kelazhur here, Kelagod versus ShoWTimE.
It is, but it almost, in fairness, like I love the point that they were making. These guys, like to, you know, ShoWTimE, we expect him to be one of the absolute best, but Kelazhur isn't a new face, but he's in a new form. Prepare yourselves for the awesomeness that is this Brazilian Terran player.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this one unfold. Let's introduce the players in the bottom right here, hailing from Germany. This is ShoWTimE. The best posture in esports.
Absolutely.
Like there's an ironing board back there. And that's up left. This is Root Kelazhur.
Well, there might be an ironing board back there, but there is a washboard under there, Maynard. Now listen, if you and I really hit it off as a casting duo, I've decided what our name's going to be.
Do it. Tell me.
Innard.
Innard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? It's deep. It's got
Literally,
real
figuratively.
potential. But enough about us. We do have Rotterdam, again, flexing those cerebral muscles, knowing these players so well with all that passion.
It's actually sometimes scary how intelligent Rotterdam is.
You don't expect it, but in StarCraft, you can kind of see where it comes from. But Kelazhur's going to be cheesing it up here a little bit, and we're going to get a probe scout from ShoWTimE, so he's going to see this. When you see the double gas, every Protoss and probably their mom, certainly the Mega Fit family of ShoWTimE, does expect it's usually some kind of Reaper thing, and then you kind of expect the factory fault. But a lot of times, they don't do that. They'll just build the factory back at home, and this is meant to just kind of get an advantage.
Yeah, the factory is probably going to be to finish off the wall here for Kelazhur. It looks like that is going to be the case. This probe being a little bit annoying, delaying.
Super annoying.
Yeah. I mean, Kelazhur does need to drop that. There it is. Getting that factory down, and he's going to start his proxy Reaper action. But of course, we know with ShoWTimE, he's got his pylon in position. He's not got his mothership core, but the Zealot is just waiting for it. You know, Zealot not the greatest unit in the game against Reapers, but, you know, it's something. It can mess with the AI or the targeting of the Reaper for a little bit.
It's a delay tactic. The Reaper has to respect it. A couple of swipes will actually cleave off some of the health of that Reaper pretty early on. We do get an early probe kill there. Now, to justify this kind of opening, a probe kill is not really what we're looking for here if we are Kelazhur, but going up to 2, maybe 3 in a second.
That one out of gas.
That is what you're looking for. That's really good.
Really strong start, actually, and the Reaper lives as well to tell the tale with a second one on the way to help him out. Looks like possibly a starport here from Kelazhur, yes. So this is actually an old school proxy from Kelazhur. This is something he was known for doing a very, very long time ago. Proxying either, you know, a Liberator just straight up, or even just going for, you know, if he wants to make it a little bit later, hit a little bit harder, he can even go for Banshee. I've seen that from Kelazhur as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking Liberator or a Banshee would be weird just because of how much you have to build down there to get towards it. You usually want to have the tech lab kind of preemptively made. But the factory all the way back at home, making a Cyclone, it's not really shaping up to be some kind of like quick Widow Mine drop or something like that. We have seen things like Medevac and Cyclone. That's okay, but usually, again, you have like a reactor on the factory or something like that. So there it is. We do get that tech lab, and nice call, Mr. Maynard. I think we should see some Banshees here.
I've seen a few Kelazhur games in my past. I remember this build becoming popular for Kelazhur on like maps like Apotheosis like a long time ago. It's I see ShoWTimE going for a Stargate opening here against the Terran player. Obviously, the Oracle pretty strong. There's not a whole lot of options that Kelazhur has to deal with the Oracle either. Like the Cyclone's okay, but it's not great. It can shoo it off, but it's will rarely kill it.
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes ShoWTimE so difficult to play against is he's known for his staunch defense. He's known just for like a rock solid play. Even in his commentary, they're like, hey, you know, PvZ is really tough. What are you going to do about it? And he's like, I'm going to do the basic stuff and just try to do it really well. That speaks to his mindset. And as you said, this Oracle is going to get found by the Reapers. That's actually kind of nice. Like, it's charging up its energy and using it there is far and away the better. Like, these Reapers, as the game goes on, don't really factor in. So that's totally fine. But spotting them there is nice. There is no engineering base, so you don't see that kind of defense, but it's allowing him the possibility to start adding, well, a second Cyclone will shut down an Oracle, so he's fine in that regard.
Yeah, these Cyclones should be more than enough. He's lifting up the starport, sending it back home now, doesn't really care about that tech load anymore.
Man.
But he actually didn't get Cloak here, which means that this Phoenix that ShoWTimE's made should be more than enough to deal with the Banshee.
I like the call. He sees that there is a Stargate available. He sees that there's an Oracle out, so committing to Cloak might not be doing it there, but a little bit of a Reaper distraction. Meanwhile, that Banshee does rack up some kills, and we see 5 probes go down, which is okay. But again, you almost have to put that up against the backdrop of what did our Terran player do to get those 5 kills? Proxy Reaper, Proxy Banshee. Is that enough to justify it? Time will have to tell, but at the outset, I would say not yet. Not very good to hear.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, this severely delays the next step of your game. It delays stim, it delays those upgrades, it delays your production for those units that you want in the late game. You don't want to have Cyclones all game against a Protoss. You want to have that bio, you want to have Widow Mines. It's looking like he may want them here as he has some Phoenix and Gateway pressure here from ShoWTimE. The bunker actually being denied here. The SCV needs to come down and finish, but there's not even anything to put in there just yet. Just a couple of Marines coming down.
Strange. It was like very aggressive by ShoWTimE. He actually got these Cyclones and hang on, the fight's not even over just yet. He's going to go after some of these SCVs, picking up the Cyclones, not to deal damage to him, but to stop them from dealing damage to that Oracle. And to finish my thought, I really like that he went up there, used a little bit of like a bait and switch to be like, hey, go ahead and lock on to me. Your anti-air is not very strong. And then he went up that ramp, got a couple more kills, did pay for it with a single Stalker, but a nice exchange. Some real aggression here out of ShoWTimE.
Yeah, pretty cool. Just saying, you hurt me, I'll hurt you back. No problem. He's evening the stakes a little bit here against Kelazhur, who is already not in an amazing spot here. And ShoWTimE is rarely the kind of player that when he falls behind, that he stays behind. He tends to get a lead and keep it. So this is a pretty strong start for the German Protoss, I'd have to say.
Yeah, a few more kills here, and it looks like that Oracle will actually just kind of reside itself to the top end of the map there. And now all of a sudden, these SCV kills are starting to rack up. The Phoenixes also are a huge nuisance because one of the best ways for Terrans to get back into a game is with drop play. You can still obviously do drop play against Phoenixes, but it just becomes that much more perilous if they get found early on, or if the fight turns sideways, all of a sudden you're losing everything.
Oh, wow. Taking the Cyclones out of the battle again. The Marines not in range, and the Oracle again going to start shredding through the worker line here. Just 3 SCVs going down,
Holy
not critical,
cow.
but it's starting to stack up here a little bit in control. I mean, he's already up 10 probes.
ShoWTimE saying that after DreamHack Austin, he took a little bit of a break. Apparently, he went into some kind of hyperbolic chamber and came out a newer and even more improved ShoWTimE. This is looking fantastic.
Oh,
I do like this
Cyclone kill. Oh no, the SCV's on a mass repair. Actually keep it alive. Drop here in the natural ShoWTimE. Very, very annoying. Just one pylon in position here to defend.
Beautiful drop, though. Under attack. What is one of the only ways a Terran player can get back into it? You're looking at it. He's cleaving up so many probes. He gets the motion core, and this will eventually... Well, I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. If that's... Here comes the army coming back. So certainly the tools are in place for ShoWTimE to stop this. But this is beyond a cleanup. This is like a cover-up for all the murders that's happened here so far.
And he's even shaving into these Phoenixes. He's killed 3 already with his drop. 24 probes have died. This is incredible for Kelazhur. I don't even care if this medevac dies. He's done an incredible job here.
It really has. He's going to drop down to the 3rd just to be a little bit more annoying. The Phoenixes actually have to leave. Another probe does go down as well. Huge damage. To say this brought Kelazhur back into the game is to misdescribe the impact of what that is. Kelazhur is massively ahead at this point in time. Army 35 to 18 workers, just an 8 worker advantage for Kelazhur, because keep in mind, the first half of this game otherwise was Kelazhur on the back foot receiving a beating from ShoWTimE, but with one drop in the midst of that chaos, he was able to put himself in the dominant position.
Well, ShoWTimE does have triple Nexus, so he can make, get those probes up a little bit in time, but the 3rd CC for Kelazhur just now being taken is very, very, very late for the Terran. That said, though, both players have been taking damage all over the map. Killing that many probes is incredible for the Terran player. I have to agree with you there. And it looks like ShoWTimE's for the mid-game. It looks like they're going to go straight up into ye old Phoenix at depth.
Yeah, it's the follow-up, though, Maynard, that gives me such great pause. We've seen a few Phoenix go down, so rebuilding that counts rough. If you look at production tab, we're not seeing more Phoenix. It's just going to be the Adepts, like you pointed out. But Adepts, I mean, let's not forget, they recently received a little bit of a nerf. They're no longer kind of the singular shut-you-down kind of unit. A lot of times you're looking for that AoE transition out of the Protoss player. With ShoWTimE taking that damage, he's so far away from it that he's just kind of doubling down on this. He says, okay, well, look, I'm counting on you not having enough medevacs, or I'm going to have a great concave of adepts. That's how I'm going to win this fight.
You see that ShoWTimE actually, with that third Nexus being done, has actually taken the working lead again, even after taking all that damage. These adepts...
that's awkward.
Yeah. Just finding themselves by that chest full of gold there, and shaving off a couple SCVs, but there's a massive drop here from Kelazhur going straight to the main. Just one pylon here to overcharge. That's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough. There's 3 medevacs, like you said. They do have stim. The pylon goes down immediately. The motion core, it doesn't even have energy for anymore, by the way, because it did have to get remade. And Kelazhur's in an interesting spot. Doing damage here, sure, he's going to shut down some of the production, but the bigger thing here is that he could just go to that third. There's not enough Phoenix to really destroy the medevacs, and that's exactly what he does. And this is looking bad.
Man, and a reinforcement as well from Kelazhur. Too much! GG! And he takes game number 1 against ShoWTimE. Kelazhur, that transformation that we saw happen before our very eyes at Austin has not slowed down. The time in Korea really has been critical for him. He is still that brand new player, such a high-level Terran that he's turned into, and it's really heartwarming, actually, having been a fan of his for a very, very long time, to see how good he's gotten.
Absolutely, Maynard. I want to give a special welcome, by the way. We just received word that the viewers from HOTS has joined us. Welcome, everybody.
What up,
thank you
fans?
for joining us. We are in the midst of a fantastic PVT. We've got ShoWTimE, one of the best, if not the best, foreign Protoss player, falling 0-1 in this short best-of-3 series against the Brazilian Terran player, who's been spending a lot of time in Korea training up, and results are pouring in. I liked what the guys talked about at the desk. We saw him at WCS Austin. I really like the way Rotterdam put it. It's not that he, made it to the quarterfinals. That's good enough, sure, whatever. It's how he did it. He looked dangerous. He looked good. He pushed a lot of those guys to the limit, and he looked like he could have won that thing.
Yeah, he actually, and it wasn't like he had bracket luck or anything. Like, he was going to game 5 against the likes of Nurtio. He was coming back 2 maps down against incredibly high-level players, like the best in the world.
And
playing those long games, too, those macro games.
What you just said is so spot on for what happened here, too. Kelazhur these WCS events are so huge. To be in a position where everything ShoWTimE was doing was getting the result he wanted. He was pulling really clever, tricky moves with his Phoenix and his Oracle. It looked so bad for Kelazhur, but to have the not even patience, that's not the right, the steel, just the ability to be like, okay, this is really bad. Here's my one chance to do it. He did it, executed it, pulled off the drop, and was able to come back and then in the end, win off that move. That actually takes something special. I think a lot of people at home are like, no, I did that in my Platinum game. It's not that hard, Jeff. Quit talking up. It's different on this stage for thousands of dollars in front of all these people. It's very different.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nail on the head, as they say. And we're going to go in a sequencer here for map number 2. It's ShoWTimE's pick. We'll see what he has in store here.
It's not quite a Protoss map, but they like it. There's a lot of expansions here. Drop play is a little bit harder because there's not much negative space. Anywhere you go can be reached by a stalker, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
We will. Let's introduce the players currently down 1 in the series. This is ShoWTimE. And in the top right is a new man. This is OSC Roots Kelazhur.
Again, welcome everyone from Heroes of the Storm. Thank you for joining us. We've got some great StarCraft going on here. Hopefully you guys had some great games as well. We'll have to check up on those results later.
Stage looked really incredible when we walked past it, by the way, for Heroes. Looks pretty good.
That stage always looks incredible with all those talented, beautiful people on it, though. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And this is rough. So if you're a ShoWTimE fan, this is a good moment in time. Proxying on a big map like this can happen anywhere. ShoWTimE snuffs it out immediately, and Kelazhur's going to be on the back foot. Now, to be fair, though, there's actually a window of time where that gets scouted that it becomes the most heart-wrenching, terrible moment in time for a Terran player where they're like, dude, I was 85% done with that. This is terrible. He had just started, so it's not as bad as it could be, Maynard.
It slows him down by about 10 seconds, I'd say. It's not really a huge deal. He had an SCV ready to make it back at home. Obviously, it's a nice start for ShoWTimE, and this NG block is a little bit questionable. I don't know if it did a whole lot there. It just kind of gave ShoWTimE a little bit more minerals, I feel.
Yeah, I think Kelazhur's one of the players that would thrive on kind of throwing the other player off a little bit. He's the guy that, when I think of a good Kelazhur game, I'm thinking of chaotic drop play. We've seen a lot of those comebacks like you talked about against Nurtio. Whereas with ShoWTimE, if everything's going off, on time, on plan, I don't know many people that beat him because he's just so rock solid. That's just his thing. Of course, he's good at other things, but I feel like if he knows what you're going to do and he's got his build timed out, darn it, it's really hard to beat him. So throwing him off a little bit is a worthy attempt, I guess.
Probe coming in here just as the Reaper pops out as well, so he's not going to get too much information. Does see the CC being dropped at least. Knows there's no one-base shenaniganry happening here.
I think it might have seen the factory, right? Can we get a look at this?
Possibly.
Did it poke up that ramp? Mr. Observer person here, by the way. We got
he did see
great observers here. Did see that. So to your point, this is like the cookie cutter opener. So in terms of like amazing information, no, but it does confirm that this is where we're falling back on. It's probably going to be something like a Widowmine drop. Maybe Hellions if Kelazhur's feeling especially spicy or something. But it looks like both players are kind of falling back into their standard stance.
I'm feeling like it's probably going to be a Widowmine drop here from Kelazhur.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. Starport going down here. We see that the Adept Shade just bats away that Reaper there. Doesn't get a whole lot done at all or anything done at all. Just gets information. The Stargate play is going to be coming out for ShoWTimE, his first tech structure.
On a big map like this can be really nice. We already have seen that he likes to go Oracle and follow it up with Phoenix as opposed to just going singular Oracle or straight Phoenix. Very good on a map like this again, where, again, you're playing against a Terran player where drops are going to be a thing. Kelazhur's not going to play a TvP and not go drop heavy. So having access to those Phoenix and also being able to harass, of course, is fantastic. But good call here, man. It is going to be those Widowmines.
Yep, certainly looks like it. This is a pretty regular build, very cut and dry TvP. Build I like to do myself. Reaper comes in, sees the Stargate, sees the Oracle. Doesn't get a whole lot of damage done, but that's it's done its job.
There it is. I know that feel, man. That Oracle was chasing for a second, and the whole time, ShoWTimE's like, do I do it? I hate this freaking Reaper, so yes, I do.
Oh, Kelazhur's going to try and go for the bait here with that Widowmine, putting it in a popular flight path for the Oracle, but, I mean, the Oracle actually got pulled out of that flight path by that Reaper, so...
As it would turn out, sometimes...
He played
the
himself.
betrayal happens there, but he's going to go ahead and grab it in the middle of the map. Oracle's going to show up. It's predictable. And now the dance begins, too, where you got to be careful about those Widowmines. They can be hidden behind, like, the gas refinery or something like that.
This is actually a little bit dangerous for Kelazhur here. He's lost his Marines. The Widowmines aren't at home. Here comes some Marines from the natural to bat it away, but 3 SCVs going down there just for the cost of some energy. A good start there with that Oracle.
A lot of times, though, with that Stargate opening, and this is going to be a gut check for how fast ShoWTimE is, if you can drop before the overcharge goes down and he is actually able to just kind of trigger that, oh, that's not good. And the other one could get picked up. Yep, exactly.
Wow.
So he loses the Medevac and both the Widowmines for 0 cost. A fantastic defense for our German Protoss.
Immaculate defense from ShoWTimE. It's something you tend to expect from someone that has that lineage of efficiency.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, again, this is looking a little bit familiar where, like, last game, ShoWTimE was the guy that was dominating the early game. And we were like, okay, this is all but over. But then Kelazhur pulled off that swift drop to pull it back. So we're going to have to see ShoWTimE glistening a little bit. It is hot here in beautiful Jönköping, and there's a little bit more than that going on, though. This group stage round 3, by the way, man, you cannot give a series. It's no longer like that. All these groups are jam-packed with good players, so the loser of this is in a tough spot.
Absolutely. Already down to the 32 from the 80 that we started with at the beginning of the day. Third Nexus is down there, and he's made a lot of probes, so he's good to saturate that pretty quickly here. You can see the work account very heavily in the favor of ShoWTimE at the moment. Gets a tag there, sees the Vikings, sees the Marines. You know, just keeps him honest a little bit here, not a huge deal. And he is going to follow this up with Adept Tech again. Getting Resonating Glaives on the Twilight Council, dropping 4 more gateways. So, yeah.
Have the bodies. I mean, he's just getting good information here with that tag. Like you said, he can see kind of the saturation at the natural. He can see the army count. It's looking a little bit sparse. I mean, he's a smarter guy than I. If I saw that, I'd be a little bit worried about more going on, like a drop trying to swing around. But maybe also you got to factor in the fact that he picked off that medevac, so that's why it looks a little bit less populated than perhaps it normally would be.
Getting that Viking, a nice pick off there. Shaving off a couple, I think he got a Mule as well. Nice little moves here from ShoWTimE. He's also going to go into Phoenix Adept without losing Phoenixes like he did at the on Abyssal Reef. So this is a pretty strong start. See this drop comes through. I think it actually left the sensor net of ShoWTimE here, so he's not aware of it.
Yeah, and this is where that instinct needs to kick in. He just checks the main, checks the natural, drops it down. He sees no medevacs. He sees nothing. He's got to believe there's more out there.
Well, he's pulling the... I think you're right, man. He's pulling these Phoenixes all the way back the other side of the map. He doesn't know where the drop is. It is on the far left. It is on the far right. It is on the far right. He sees that pylon. And ShoWTimE's going to react immediately with a whole bunch of Adepts.
Yeah, this is not last game. ShoWTimE in a fantastic position here. He's got 8 gateways, I believe it is. So the amount of production he can put out there is really, really scary. No 2 medevacs are going to intimidate him any longer. It's going to take more than that. And this is where Sequencer comes into play for the Protoss player as well. It's a very large map, so if a drop like this doesn't get a lot done, the Protoss scales up more and more, whereas it's kind of the Terran player that's window of opportunity may be closing a little bit. That being said, just Adepts does fall off at like the 6 medevac time, so we're looking for that transition from our Protoss player as well.
Yeah, he'll be looking at the tier 3 pretty shortly. Usually, you know, Colossus is a popular follow-up. There's also some players that like to go for a Disruptor. It's kind of stylistic. And see, the Blink is actually going to be next here for ShoWTimE. Still a ton of Adepts here. That third CC is probably in a bit of trouble here if he commits.
This is a funny play by Kelazhur, though. He's going to show up over at the third base, excuse me. Phoenix are just what's left to kind of harass over there. The third base will get canceled, but seeing that the whole army's over there, he shows up. He's going to be able to pick off this pylon pretty quick. He does, but all of a sudden that production becomes a little bit of an issue. A nice Widowmine hit there, actually, thinning out the Adepts, getting behind the middle line. This is doing pretty good damage, and actually ShoWTimE is going to come all the way home.
Yeah, he's pulling everything back. A ton of Adepts across the map. They're actually going to actually shaving into these Marines is a nice little move from ShoWTimE.
Really nice pickup here. I was a little bit worried about the move to come home because I think his Phoenix and whatever he produces can absolutely hold this off. But as you pointed out, Maynard, picking off that army mid-map like that, yeah, this is really, really nice for him.
That mine going to come off cooldown. He's going to touch up those Adepts, kill one of them. That Observer's going to make sure that doesn't happen again. 13 probes going down in that little scuffle there, but again, ShoWTimE with triple Nexus is going to be able to get the probe count replenished very, very quickly.
Yeah, he's only a couple behind here. He did get the cancel on that third. We see it gets restarted for Kelazhur, kind of up inside of his base. It's interesting he's reluctant to try and take that third. It is kind of a half base, only the 1 gas and just 5 mineral piles, I believe. So yeah, that's usually like a. We'll come around to that later. That's not the base that I want to take right now.
It's I call it the jank third.
The jank third.
I don't want that third. No one wants that third, but sometimes you have to take it because it's safe.
Okay. Jank third. It's the safe option. Yeah. Is that what you'd call it?
It's safe, but you don't want it. It's less minerals. It's less gas.
All right. What's the spider equivalent in Australia? What's like a still can kill you, but maybe won't.
Say a redback.
A redback
spider.
Certainly, that's what I was thinking for sure too. And now we're going to fall back. And here's that transition you were talking about. We do see the robotics bay here in a second robo. So it could be Disruptors, but I think the common play is Colossus. And then what's really become popular is following that up with 2, 3, maybe 4 Disruptors. And that's a tough composition to deal with because usually with Colossus, you want to get in on top of them. But Disruptors are just so good at zoning. Oh, yeah. Very hard army to control, mind you. But if you got the multitask like this stud of a human ShoWTimE, then you can pull it off.
And it is going to be Colossus levels of things. So Diego Kelazhur here being a little bit threatening with these drops again. In the middle of the map, he actually can't win this fight. That is so many Adepts.
No.
So he's going to have to pull back here, but the drop is starting to slide on through the right side of the map, looking for that third Nexus again. Actually, ShoWTimE's getting a 4th Nexus in the very, very back right pocket.
And more Widowmines, by the way. And that is why that transition must happen. Adepts are really strong, but as the game progresses, Widowmines and stuff like this will really start to hurt them. Good attack here. Okay, a handful of probes. I was wondering if they actually all piled up on that gas and then died, but that is not the case. Gonna go into the natural. A lot of this, though, by the way, keep in mind, Kelazhur's not looking to strike a big, decisive blow. He'll obviously take it if it's given to him. He's trying to buy time. These Marines against a Adept Colossus army are not ideal. You want more Marauders, more Widowmines.
Now that there's double robotics facility with double Colossus production, I mean, Kelazhur's army is starting to fall behind in value right now. I agree with you there. That's mine. It's pretty handy. But, I mean, when the Colossus count gets up and you have all these Adepts still alive and those Phoenixes still alive, what do you do, man? Like, it's tough. You gotta start getting a big Viking count up. You got to get those EMPs even. You got to really just shave into that beefy ground army of the Protoss.
Well, I want to see this. I think actually this is a weird thing. I think ShoWTimE might be on a single forge and only just now completing 2nd attack upgrade.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite terrible. And to be honest, the production tab shows, from what I can gather, well, there's +3 attack. Never mind. It is double engineering bay for a Terran player. That could become an issue.
Yeah,
single forge is really uncommon at this stage for a Protoss.
Didn't even realize. So we have a Adept drop in the main here with some Prisms doing some damage. And this 4th Nexus, that's pretty forfeit here. I feel like he's going to be able to take that down before ShoWTimE deals with it.
Oh, he just picked that up on top of that Observer, but did he see it is, I guess, the big question. Nice drop inside the main for ShoWTimE, so good damage going back and forth. And he's going to show up at this 4th base with an army that I don't think, well, especially with 4 medevacs full of stuff, cannot be challenged. The thing is, though, with all these Widow Mines and with the poor upgrades, I question ShoWTimE's ability to push into our Terran player. I don't know that he can do that really successfully. We're going to see that in a second here.
These Liberators are going to make things very, very tough as well, as he only has Stalkers to be able to shoot up here, and that is a Doom Drop from Kelazhur heading to the main.
He's going to pick up and leave the third. In fact, the Phoenix are going to show up, but they don't have any support. Widow Mine's going down. There's the Photon Overcharge, a lot of them, but the pilots die so fast with all the stimmed units. Adept's being called in behind this. The army's coming back. This is disastrous for ShoWTimE.
He's getting pulled apart in 3 places at once here. The Phoenix is coming through. They will shred through these medevacs, but 25 probes have gone down here. The economy of ShoWTimE is actually in shambles right now.
He's at sub 30 workers. His Phoenix are taking hits. He's losing inside the main. His production's being really hurt. He's getting funneled to go through there. It's an awkward fight. He needs the Colossus to kind of break into this inner cavity. He's going to sacrifice some of his Phoenix. It looks like they are. No, there's no Marines to shoot it down. But this is just so bad behind this. Kelazhur is taking an advantage in Harvesters. He's actually tied up in army. And he's got to be so happy with this. He does end up taking that janky, as we're going to call it, third base. It is still 5 mineral piles. It is still a gas. And wow. And how do we get here, by the way? Kelazhur counterattacking again.
Drops, managing to get through the defensive network of ShoWTimE, finding the critical damage, the soft underbelly, if you will. And taking all those probe kills is really, really hard for ShoWTimE to deal with it. Went behind Dark Shrine, it does get dropped down here. +3 attack, about to finish for the Terran, though, as +2 armor is, looks like it's unpowered on the Forge.
Well, he's just rebuilding. It's just, he's in a rough spot. There is that second Forge, but he's got to actually build several Artosis pylons to get this base up and going. Might even need a Tasteless pylon or two as well to partner up there. And what do you do? ShoWTimE's like, well, I guess I have to push. That's the only thing I got. I hope he has no answer for these Colossus. Unfortunately for him, it's Liberators. He can't get up there. Maybe if he had some incredible Phoenix count, but even them are a bad answer because Widow Mines pair so well with that. I don't see him cracking this at all.
No, and the Phoenix count got shredded in that first drop and the Doom drop in the main, so there's actually not a way for him to deal with these Liberators except for Stalkers, and the Bio want him to blink.
Oh, man.
They want him to blink under those Liberators. He'll just shred them apart.
Insult to injury, and these Phoenix are actually so low. Liberator had delusions of grandeur there trying to take it down. Now, the army advantage is still, in my opinion, at least in a straight-up slugger fight, it is probably a little bit in ShoWTimE's favor, but those Liberators don't really have a good answer, and that's where I maybe what I just said is completely wrong. It's like, yeah, it looks stronger, but then you factor in the Liberators, and it's not stronger at all.
It's just screaming TY here. Just get 3 Liberators at a time.
Okay.
Just the anti-Protoss army here.
Yeah.
There's not really a way that ShoWTimE can deal with it except to just make...
Maynard, look at the upgrade tab. Oh, my heart!
Oh, wow.
It hurts!
How did we not even realize that until this point?
Guys, look, it's Father's Day today. If you get your dad a gift tomorrow, that's as painful as what we're just looking at right now. That's the Colossus range upgrade going down about 72 hours too late. No, fortunately, there hasn't been any dramatic fights, and he's not looking to hit a critical timing, but down 40 supply. You've been getting kind of slapped back and forth. This is the insult to injury. It's like, oh my God, I didn't need to see that right now.
And you just reminded me live on stream in front of thousands of people that I need to buy my dad a bottle of whiskey when I get home.
See, and that's that Colossus range upgrade.
Yeah, that's my extended thermal lance.
Maybe buy him 2 bottles with how late it'll be.
I'm not sure I can afford that. I will have to try. We do have the Liberator range going down here for Kelazhur to make things even tougher for ShoWTimE to deal with the lack of range that he has. He can't deal with the Liberators again. Like, I'm repeating myself, but this is just the situation that ShoWTimE's in.
He's going to try. I mean, I like what he's doing. He's trying to buy a little bit of time. Liberators do have to set up. So that's what he's going to do, and he's trying to find an answer. Behind this, he's adding a speckling of Stalkers. He's got a good blink, maybe. Unfortunately for him, though, like the upgrades are just not in his favor. The Colossus they do have range for this fight. I almost kind of want to see him base trade, but it's not going to happen. We're going to fight right here. He's going to get a couple of thermal lance shots in there, but then he has to evacuate. Those Liberators just aren't having it.
Yeah, and these Liberators will slowly leapfrog towards the Protoss base here. The bio is quite low, quite stimmed. Not a whole lot of medevac energy to keep it up, because he hasn't been making medevacs for a while. It's been all about the Liberators. Oh, ShoWTimE eating a lot of shots there.
And now you have to base trade. It's just been forced on him. His army is up top, and it's just over. GG is called. Kelazhur corralled and destroyed. The German Protoss on his way to a yawning 2-0.
2-0 against ShoWTimE, this beast, this monster that so many people in the EU scene and every Protoss player out there that's into the competitive scene looks up to ShoWTimE as one of the best players in the whole world.
And Maynard, he's got 3 other Terrans in this group. I mean, or 2 other Terrans, excuse me. This was supposed to be him avoiding the PVZ, but with that first match, you got to be worried. There is no easy matchup at this point in time. I mean, Kelazhur is probably the best outside of Special, I would say. But man, that's rough.
Incredible series for Kelazhur. Like, it was just both games, there was a point where he just won the game, and we just had to watch it unfold. Like, that's just... I mean, we could talk about it all day, but I would rather hear what Sue has to say here with our champion, Kelazhur. Well played, mate.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Congratulations, Kelazhur. It was a 2-0 over a really formidable opponent in ShoWTimE. First game seemed pretty easy and straightforward for you, but let's talk about Sequencer, because I feel a lot of people can agree with me when I say ShoWTimE looked pretty damn good at the beginning of the game, and then after a certain point, everything just started to die for ShoWTimE. So what happened there?
Well, I was off to a bad start since he scouted the racks. I kind of wasn't expecting that. I was thinking maybe he's not going to feel it 2 times in a row. But I feel like I'm really good at improvising. So I think my follow-up was pretty sharp. And as long as I can get my timings right, I should be able to claw my way into back into any game.
Now let's talk about your group, because it's a very strong group. It's yourself, and you just played against ShoWTimE, a champion player himself. And then on the other side, we have uThermal and Iagus. So it's 2 very strong Terran players. How are you feeling about your TvT?
I'd say my TvT is probably the shakiest of all my matchups. So I'm really hoping I can beat them, because I don't want to play another TvT or ShoWTimE again.
I was wondering, as someone who's from Latin America, is Major someone you play quite a bit, or not at all?
Yeah, actually, my team made an article on our rivalry, and apparently we're 16-16 in series. So yeah, we played a lot.
And I know that WCS Austin was a fantastic event for you. You defeated so many strong players there. I believe Neeb, Snoot, TLO, and then you narrowly lost to Nurchio 2-3. So coming into this event, is some of that momentum still carrying over at all, or is it just like kind of a fresh start for you?
Well, it's been a while. I guess it's kind of a fresh start, because at Austin I was fresh off from Korea. So I was really sharp in my mechanics. And here, I've just been practicing at the root files, but I've been taking a lot easier than I was in Korea. So it's kind of, maybe my skill level is a little bit lower.
Well, still looking forward to your matches. Thank you very much for the interview, and best of luck. Let's head back to Nathanias.
Thank you very much, Smix. An enticing series we had. That TvP, I think a lot of people ended up shocked. I know at least I got one cheeky tweet calling me out for my pick on Kelazhur, but he really showed up. We saw a lot of great mic from him, strong builds, and resilience out of our Terran player, Roddy. Have you ever had trouble getting that extended lance up?
What kind of a question is that? I will refuse to comment on that.
That range upgrade is a big one.
Yes, it's very important, Nate, that you get it in time.
You know, last
Otherwise,
time,
your moment of opportunity could pass.
I was talking up T-Drogo because he was streaming and he played Zest on ladder, and I think Zest forgot Gravity on Catapult. So I told him, did you know? He's like, you know what? Every time I play a game against Terran and the game ends, I'm on the score, on the end score victory screen, and I press the button continue so that I can check if I actually made thermal lens. So better safe than sorry is what they say, and you want to make sure that you get that every single time. I got a couple updates from the other series here that we had happening. Sen took on Sortov and opened up the scoreboards with a cheeky, quick 4 minutes game. Sortov came back in a 4 minutes game, and then they had a 10 minutes game with Sortov won. So 2-1 for Sortov. Just action-packed all around. Then we had Special just playing against Lambo over there. First map, Sequencer, 3 racks Reaper. He did a bunch of damage, finished him off with some Marines. Second game, Abyssal Reef. 2 racks Proxy, Bunker Rush, put him behind, finished him off from there. So Special looked very, very strong.
A lot of aggressive builds coming out of the Terrans in this tournament so far.
Yes, and right now I'm watching Mana against Serral Pera. We could jump into it, I think, because we're about to have some action over there. Mana actually won game 1 with some very solid gameplay. I feel like I haven't done a tutorial in forever, but if I was to make one, definitely would be on that game. Serral came back in game 2 with some mutas that Mana didn't expect, and now it looks like they're back to basics. Hydra Baneling, they've been doing some run-by and killing a bunch, 39 probes have already died, Jesus.
Yeah, that was. I think as we were getting ready to set up here, we saw the Bane Rain coming in, so bringing in a lot of that, harass.
And by the way, guys,
10 games going on.
Yeah, make sure to check out these games. They are going on other streams. I believe Special against Lambo was up on Fear Dragon stream, for example. This is going on Indie stream. It's in Polish, sure, but to watch this series, even if I had to listen to Nyan Cat and Epic Sax Guy at the same time, I would still do it to watch this.
Well, I don't see any negatives to that. Kev, thoughts on that last series in general, though? Well, Kelazhur brought out the very aggressive start and then had to claw his way back in game 2.
No, absolutely. And even in game 1, in my opinion, I really think that this was a showcase of best defense is offense. Like, the start was good on Abyssal, but then when that Bonker couldn't exactly finish up, and, he started losing a bunch of SUVs at home, it's that double drop that he sent via the south side of the map, where he unloaded those 60 Marines in the natural of ShoWTimE. That was the beginning of the end of that game. ShoWTimE, what kind of he was in control of that game. He had Phoenixes on the other side of the map.
You know what that was, right? Because Jeff was like, oh, ShoWTimE is playing so well. And then all of a sudden the drop comes in. It's the Home Story Cup curse coming back.
Yeah. But Sequencer was a more bizarre game. I mean, you mentioned the thermal lens, and yes, that wasn't up in time, Nate. But I don't think that's the only thing that was wrong. What I was mostly surprised by is that it felt like we were watching an impatient ShoWTimE. A ShoWTimE that was playing excellent early game, shut down the double mine drop, didn't lose anything, and was then just in such a rush to finish it, which feels very unlike ShoWTimE to me. ShoWTimE normally calm, collected, has a beautiful posture when he plays, and it just felt like he was in such a rush to run across the map and win, run across the map and win.
And Sequencer is such a large map, running straight across it to make those pushes, it's a hard thing to do.
Yep, and all the kudos in the world, of course, to Kelazhur for just keep trying to avoid those Phoenixes and keep finding new angles to drop again at the other side of the map.
Drops.
Yep, the one was good, but once he went to the main and he had one on the right bottom as well, that was the beginning of the end. And ShoWTimE, you could just see him running around like a chicken without his head, right? Like, do I go in? No, I go back. Do I, it felt unlike ShoWTimE to me, a weird series. Like, if I didn't see the name tag, there's nowhere I ever say that's ShoWTimE.
All right, well...
Who would you say it is?
Roddy.
All right, well, we are going to get ready for our next game. I believe it will be ShoWTimE versus Ayagas. Excuse me, it's going to be Euthermal Kelazhur. We're going to do the winners match of this group. Euthermal versus Kelazhur, TvT coming up next. We'll be right back.